fascinated by humans and their physiology. None of the weird stuff, though. I'm not some pervert or something. I'm not so much interested in the human body as much as I am the human brain. There's so much intelligent life out there, but humans have always been the most interesting to me. Your civilizations have come so far in the blink of an eye, advancing at rates that rival even the most advanced species in our universe. In no time at all, I believe you'll be soaring the stars with the rest of us. Your culture, your passion, your art, it's so uniquely human. I can't help but admire it. I can't help but want to be a part of it. But unfortunately, I was born on the wrong planet. The closest I'll ever get to having a human in my life is experimenting on them, writing my thesis on human neurology. This was the only chance I had to get close to humanity, but I don't think it will ever be enough to satisfy the yearning I felt in my heart all of these years. It's not the same talking at someone that's in a dreamlike stupor. I want to have conversations, sit down and ask you about what life on Earth is like, your history, the good and the bad. I want to ask you about the evolution of your music, compare it to that from my home planet, laugh about how similar we are despite being so different. I told you my motivations were pathetic. Nobody back home could ever understand. Not like I'd ever tell them. They all know I'm obsessed with humans, but they believe it's purely scientific. I think I'd rather eject myself into space rather than confess to my deep emotional investment in humanity. Would it be so bad to keep just one of you? It would be a big sacrifice, I'm sure. You wouldn't be able to return to Earth, not with the knowledge you'd carry, but I'm sure you could learn to adapt. Humans are so resilient after all. You could grow accustomed to life on my planet, or on my ship sailing through the stars. It's unreasonable. I know. The only reason you're taking so kindly to me now is because your brain's all fuzzy. But I'm all done gathering my data. I'll take you off the sedative and be quick to clean up my work. By the time you wake in your bed, you won't even realize anything is different. Perhaps a slight irritation in your ears, maybe a bump on your head, but nothing that would cause any lasting damage or discomfort. And the last thing